Welcome, everyone. Welcome, bienvenidos, and sejam bem-vindos. I hope I said it correctly. Thank you, Talita, for that help. So today is our last session for the 2021 Global Innovation Forum. The session is on the AAHCI Student Leadership Initiative Ignite Talks, an initiative on innovative ideas of virtual medical education from Latin America. Before introducing our facilitator, and on behalf of AAHCI, I would like to congratulate all of the students and their mentors from our member institutions in the region for participating in this initiative. It took courage and tenacity to share your innovations amidst a global pandemic, and we value and recognize that here at the association. For the attendees, if you have not already done so, I encourage you to view all of the abstract submissions. They are located on our meeting app, and a link will be provided in the chat box. Without further ado, our facilitator for this session and leader behind the initial idea of this initiative is Dr. Valeria AAHCI. She is also the AAHCI LAC Regional Ambassador and Vice President of the International Office at the Faculty of Medicine in the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Valeria, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Habiba, and thank you for the association for this kind invitation. And good afternoon to all. I'm Valeria, and I would like to thank all the audience and have the pleasure to moderate this final session of GIF. This is a student leadership initiative, and it was a proposal that was co-developed between the Academic Health Center and the LAC region to embrace medical students' perspectives and engagement in medical education during the pandemic. We received 13 abstracts from 3 different countries, Brazil, Colombia, and Mexico, from institutions that are from the LAC region and are affiliated to the academic health centers. 4 finalists were selected for oral presentation after a very tight score classification. Needless to point out that all the abstracts are superb and express the massive efforts of medical students and faculty to innovate medical education, especially amid a pandemic. Many special thanks to the review committee members, Professors Chamas, Karamori, Brando, Fergel, Perez, Jimenez, Martinez, Watlin, and Combs. And a special thank you note to Professor Cantor, the president of the Association of Academic Health Centers, and his marvelous teams, Ms. Belghetti, known as Habiba, and Christian Smith for making this initiative possible. We will start with the presentations and have a 20-minute discussion at the end of the session. And we encourage the students to participate on the discussion, and we kindly request not to exceed the scheduled time for your presentation. So enjoy the meeting, and I'll start calling for the first finalist, which is the group from the University of Sao Paulo Medical School, and the project is called Med nas Nuvens, on optimized medical education model. Med nas Nuvens means med in the clouds. So I'll call the presenters, Gustavo Henrique Pereira Buch, João Vitor Lopes, Daniel Mendonça Dantas, in this order. So go ahead and good luck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gustavo. I'm here with my friends, João and Daniel, as Valeria said. We are students from the University of São Paulo in Brazil, and today we'll share with you our experience with our educational project, Med nas Nuvens. First of all, I want to thank the organization of this forum for making this possible, and thank also our advisors, teachers, volunteers, and classmates who made the Med nas Nuvens exist. So, what justified the creation of this initiative? Basically, it was the perception that in certain ways, some of the current medical education models do not always put the student in his deserved role of protagonism. What do I mean by this? I mean passive learning. Well, to be honest, this problem was prior to the pandemic, but the COVID-19 in some ways intensified it. The transition to the virtual learning, the lack of practical activities, the absence of contact with colleagues, with teachers, and the excessive hours in the screen basically established a passive, individualist, and vertical structure of learning, impairing the education as a whole.
So, in terms of innovation, we divided this presentation for two periods. The period prior to COVID-19, so that we could present Medinazuving as an innovation in itself, and the period during COVID-19, so that we can bring for you what we brought for your university and their students in terms of innovation. So Medinazuving started in 2019 with a group of students that were trying to produce their own medical content. And we focus primarily on the production of text, videos, images, and tables that value the perception of students according to the lectures and what they were learning during the period. And we noticed two key aspects during this experience. First and foremost, that the students were gaining a better autonomy and a better confidence in what they were learning. And the second point was that in the groups that were developing this project, we noticed a collaborative type of study by the sense of their formation and their medical formation being interconnected, and that one could help another. So we tried to develop a little bit more of this project, and we noticed that Medinazuving was an active learning methodology in itself, by the sense of the students received the lectures via their teachers, and by themselves or with their colleagues, they had to discuss and re-elaborate everything to create a students focused based material precisely on their perception of what they would thought would be interesting for them to learn and their difficulties. And added to that, we have the disponibilization via online platforms such as Google Drive that allow it free and open source for all the students in the university and a more flexibility for them to learn. During COVID-19 and with the transition to online learning, we noticed that some of the materials that we were addressing via the students were already done by the teachers. So we tried to not innovate in the sense of what we were doing in the past, but try to develop a more complementary to what the teachers were doing. So we focused primarily on the production via the students of material, focusing primarily on their difficulties during the period and what they thought was lacking during the online learning situation. And to do that, we offered a content recording training for them to learn via PowerPoint and Zoom. And we encouraged them to produce any content that they thought would be interesting for them during this period, like some exercises to review prior to tests, some short videos commenting a little more about some specific lecture or developing a clinical case, for instance. And we started developing last year a monitoring program by which older students were helping new ones, especially the incomers that did not have any contact with professors or their colleagues due to the quarantine measurements. And we aimed in three key aspects: the improvement of the learning experience during this period, the approximation between classmates due to the impairment of this approximation due to quarantine, and the enhancement of the values that we had developed in Medinazuving, of which were students' autonomy, partnership between them, generosity, and commitment.
Well, as you can see, one of the short-term impacts was the expansion of Medinazuving initiative in academics from the first to the fourth year students, which increased the amount of content produced. Right now, we have about 500 materials made by 80 volunteers and consumed by more than 350 viewers. These viewers benefit from our project because of the short and concise videos with different approaches to the subjects. The volunteers benefit a lot from our project because of the development of communicational abilities, creativity, and a sense of community. The autonomy and protagonism in their teaching learning process has to do with one of our major goals in the long term, and that is to make a change in the students' adhesion to the active learning methodologies for the potential increments in their learning quality. Furthermore, by promoting the collaboration between students, we aim to see a growth in the sense of community and solidarity among students, which will breed mental health in this community. We want to thank very much AAHC for this opportunity and to say that if any one of you want to know more about our projects, you can reach out to us by email or visiting us on our social media page. Thank you.
Valeria, you're muted. Sorry.
So thank you. Thank you, Group 1, for your outstanding project. And I'll be glad to announce the second finalist, which comes from Mexico, Monterrey, Texalu. And I'd like to invite the two presenters, Luis Fernando Gonzalez and Fernando Ariel Garcia Terron, please. And the project is Frontiers in Global Health.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Valeria, for your kind presentation. And good morning to everyone. We are really pleased to be sharing this webinar with all of you today. First of all, we would like to thank the Association of Academic Health Centers International and the Student Leadership Initiative for selecting our project to be presented today at the Global Innovation Forum 2021. We would also like to thank our institution, the Tecnológico de Monterrey, for all the support we have received from them in order to develop this project. We're going to present our student-led platform, Fronteras en Salud Global, or Frontiers in Global Health in English. This platform is part of the initiative of the Institute of Global Health Equity at the Tecnológico de Monterrey. My name is Ariel Garcia, a current last year med student based in Mexico City, and my colleague and friend, Fernando Gonzalez, also a last year med student based in Mexico City. However, can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you very much. I would like to start with a little bit of background. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has touched every single aspect of our lives, from the way we relate to each other to the way we seek for many services. Education has been no exception. That's why we developed Frontiers in Global Health, because we need to innovate and rethink the way we approach students interested in global health. Not only students from health sciences. Global health must be the field of action in which inter and transdisciplinary efforts are brought together. Nowadays, the Internet of Things has become a part of our daily lives. Virtual platforms have many things to offer, and one of the most interesting advantages is that they allow us to reach out to more people anywhere, anytime. Next slide, please. Now, why Frontiers in Global Health is necessary? First of all, COVID-19 has brought with it a great opportunity to start building back together. We need to rethink many practices that were common in the past, fostering a new era in terms of how we know global health. Young people like us that truly believe that addressing health inequalities with the scope on health and social justice is the way out, need to come together using this type of virtual platforms, encouraging the development of a strong and resilient health systems through meaningful dialogue. COVID has taught us an unprecedented lesson. Without health, we have nothing. Next, please. As I previously mentioned, we're building a community around Frontiers in Global Health in order to address the pressing challenges the world is facing right now. One of our main objectives is to make it clear that global health is not equal to medicine. That's why we're fostering inter and transdisciplinary work. Our model, as you can see in the diagram presented on the right side of your screen, consists on 3 big sections. The first one is providing the space for the generation, dissemination, discussion, and consumption of ideas through meaningful dialogue and publication of articles related to global health. Second, we are generating agents of social change that really have the conviction to start changing how the reality looks like, always having in mind the principles of health and social equity. And third, promoting a sustainable model in which many disciplines are brought together in order to grow the platform according to the interests of students and collaborators. In the near future, Frontiers in Global Health wants to become the global health reference platform in Latin America. And last but not least, I want to let you all know that Frontiers in Global Health was conceived to be sort of a call to action to foster collaboration between universities across the region in terms of global health. Next, please.
Our platform consists on three spheres. The first one is a catalog of educational programs, since most of the global health curricula are developed in the global north, and the intention is to concentrate the efforts of universities and institutions with academic programs on global health in Latin America in just one place. The second area comprehends an academic journal to integrate a community from different disciplines. For example, politics, arts, economics, international relations, medicine, psychology, etc., with the idea that health is not just medicine, and together address the challenges of the 21st century through academic writing and dissemination of ideas and knowledge. The diversity and inclusion of people with different talents, abilities, and motivations is very important to us. Each person's perspective helps us to approach these challenges from a different and more integral compass. We believe it's time to stop thinking to becoming the Nobel Prize as individuals and start forming the Nobel teams. Finally, the last sphere is composed of a series of interactive resources, including events, webinars, podcasts, job and internship opportunities, as well as a space to publish the latest global health news. These three spheres work together to build a community, a multidisciplinary global health community between students and academic institutions in the global south, specifically in Latin America. Next slide, please. Thank you. As this initiative is in piloting phase with great results, and since this is a call to action, we seek to measure the impact through the number of alliances with other institutions, the number of visits to the publications and to the website, as well as the attendance to the various events, webinars, and podcasts under development. In the August-December 2020 semester, we organized 3 events impacting 120 people. In the current semester, we have held 9 events and 1 writing workshop impacting more than 380 people. And we have seen an organic growth in this piloting phase, and we expect the number of people to increase significantly when we officially launch the platform at the end of this semester. Next slide, please. Thank you. As we approach the challenges of the 21st century, we have realized that students like us should start forming communities to exchange experiences and knowledge in multidisciplinary ways. Further, we believe that every generation has the responsibility to do its best to leave a better world to the unborn. That is where we want to be in the future in this global health movement, starting the Frontiers in Global Health platform to connect, share, and organize the thousands of students in Latin America to fight and act together for a better and a healthier world. Next one, please. Thank you. Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to the people who have supported us and who have actively participated in the development of this project. The deans and professors of the medical school with their always valuable feedback, and especially to the students who have joined the project with their fresh and innovative ideas. Thank you very much to AAHCI for giving us the opportunity to present this project. And we are looking forward to hearing from all of you in the future. If you have any question, commentary, or suggestion, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Group 2. It was a great project. And I would like to invite Group 3. This is the Universidad de La Sabana. And the title is How COVID-19 Helped Us Discover New Resources in Medical Education. So I'll invite Cesar Alejandro Diaz, Ritter, for the presentation. Cesar?
Okay, thank you very much. Are you ready seeing my slides?
Yes.
Okay, well, I begin. So good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Cesar Alejandro Diaz Ritter. I'm a 6-year medical student at Universidad de La Sabana. I was preparing this presentation with Nicolas Granados, but due to medical problems, he could not be with me today. But I'm pleased to be here telling you how COVID-19 helped us to discover new resources in medical education. I will begin thanking the association for selecting us as finalists in this global initiative forum. And it's amazing to see how different universities came up with ideas during this pandemic. I mainly like to tell this like in a story. I remember being in my pediatrics rotation When we began to know about the existence of COVID-19, well, we still saw it very far away, and we never thought it will came to us in one moment. Over the time, the cases were increasing, and country by country, the cases rises. And now, well, we have a pandemic disease. On March 2020, Colombia had its first case. And well, on March 16, it had the institutional decision and the presidential order were made to virtualize the classes. On March 24, we began the quarantine that normally will be taken just for 3 months, but after a year, we continue. It was an amazing process. In just 24 hours, all our classes were taken from our campus to our virtual classes, and the COVID-19 pandemic has been a challenge that affects us in all the aspects of our lives, not being an exception, our academic training and our life plans, but medical education was one of the most affected due to its practical nature. At the beginning of the crisis, we lived as students and leaders within our institution moments of real uncertainty and anxiety, living a situation like no other in 100 years. The transition to virtuality was one of the main challenges. We were used to big classes, our teachers giving lectures in our beautiful campus. And well, we have to change the platforms like Moodle and Teams. The lack of computers and connectivity was one of the big challenges we had at the beginning, but working with the university, we promptly allocated resources to help students. For example, all those computers that we had at our campus were sent to each student who required it during the pandemics. And well, the teachers were not far behind either. More than 80 took a diploma in virtuality and education. And little by little, we learned different strategies, and we were surprised in each class. We discovered new platforms as a human, which allows us to have simulated patients in clinical cases, helping us to reinforce that practical component that I talked at the beginning that we need so much. These allow us to practice different parts such as anamnesis, the physical examination, which clinics to ask the analysis and even the diagnosis of the patients. Even basic science students could use some softwares like LT that help us to transfer the laboratory to the house. And soon we came to the university, and we use cameras in the different laboratories to show all those students who were still in their houses the different practices. And well, I think that pictures is one of the best way to show you all what we did in those days, and here you have it. Okay, I think this one is one of the most important slides in our presentation, and this is why I decided to put it in one of the most emblematic bridges of our university, which you can see in the right lower quadrant. One of the greatest lessons that we take with the pandemic is the importance of teamwork, creating bridges between the different parties, each of which had specific needs and problems. I had the pleasure of being the student representative during this time, and I learned that the key of being able to meet with the students, listen them, and then meet with the directives and listen them. It's like knowing which things each party need and trying to find which things we can do for both sides. Financial problems, exams, attendance were problems that we had from the beginning, but talking and finding some solutions help us. For example, it was possible to include more than 200 new scholarships for the students who needed the most during this pandemic. Also, during the time that we were not using the campus, the faculty decided to expand to double our simulated hospital with all the opportunities that we now have, to include some practices like the one you're watching at this moment, like intubation, like CPR, like laparoscopic surgery, and even making the simulated hospital bigger. It helped us to carry on with the different biosafety regularities that we have to keep on during this pandemic. Today, retrospectively, and even continuing in the pandemic, we can assure that the true innovation was the change in the thinking, managing to go from a state of crisis to a total uncertainty, to thinking and building what we could be best way to continue. Last but not least, this pandemic also allowed us to develop new projects and new ideas. We developed interest groups of different specialties in our faculty, a space where through talks and forums, we could expand academically different topics that will help us in the daily practice. Even activities like the white coat ceremony wasn't postponed during this pandemic. And now all those learnings came up to our final years as medical students. And now Nicolas and I are interns at Fundación Santa Fe de Bogotá. And we have learned that those teamworks, that adaptability and listening to the different parts were the key to proper development of our activities during this pandemic. We appreciate your attention, and if you have any questions, I will remain attentive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cesar, for your great presentation. So the four finalists is the group from the University of São Paulo, Brazil, and the title is Bringing Teachers and Students Together in the COVID-19 Pandemic. And the presenter will be Bruna Mikhail. Bruna, go ahead.
Hello, can you all see my screen for the presentation?
Yes.
So, hi, my name is Bruna Mikhail. I'm a medical student from the University of São Paulo, and with Lucas Quinelato, Vinicius Gabay, Marina Siqueira, and our teachers, Professor Patricia Temsky and Professor Milton Arruda, we would like to say we're very honored to be presenting our project, Bringing Teachers and Students Together in the COVID-19 Pandemic at the AAHCI Global Innovation Forum. We'd like to declare no conflicts of interest. I would like to start by telling a story. So, last year, in February 2020, the World Health Organization declared a COVID-19 pandemic, which was very scary, very confusing. We didn't know what was the disease, why people were dying, and how to fight it. And with the increasing cases, suddenly we had the paralyzation of all academic activities of more than 800 medical students. We didn't know how long it would last. Our teachers were very concerned about their activities and how to continue their activities. A lot of other courses had stopped their lessons because they imagined the pandemic wouldn't last that long. On the other hand, our students were also very anxious about their mission and responsibilities during the pandemic. And in the medical community, we knew the pandemic would last at least a few months, and we couldn't afford to lose that many months of medical education and keep our our students away for that long. So we had the problem how to connect teachers and students in an unprecedented pandemic. We were very lucky to have the Center of Development of Medical Education, which is an organization at our university responsible for the medical education centralization, academic activities integration, teacher development, and pedagogical support for students. And it was basically the structure we needed to overcome the distance and assemble our students and teachers in these scary times. And with the help of SEDEN, we were able to assemble more than 200 students with some volunteering activities, which included actually helping in the hospitals to fight the pandemic, but also to help the teachers to transition to an online environment. And some students were directly involved in the transitioning to in-person classes to online, and they helped all the teachers learn how to organize problem-based lessons, online evaluations, group dynamics, and use different platforms. It was a very essential work because a lot of teachers are very old and didn't know how to use those platforms. And And a lot of students got very interested in medical education during this process. Some students also were involved in the production of infographics with COVID-19 information as to how to stay safe and when to seek for help. Those infographics were shared in our social media, and some infographics were also about study methods as we were learning more about medical education. And we also had some infographics about mental health, because mental health is in our, we were students with the would be sorry, my internet is saying it's unstable. Is fine?
Yeah, Bruna, why don't you try to turn off your video just to help with the bandwidth?
What? Sorry.
Can you try turning off your video to help with the bandwidth? Because the connection is coming in and out. I think it's from your end. So if you turn off your video and then continue, that should work.
Let's see. Involved in a course which was an updates for health professionals. We had to select publications and bibliography for the course, and we're answering all the doubts, help the origin, symptom, and all just our words involved. And about our project, we had more than 200 live, more than 100 lessons, more than 50 students in the COVID, more than curricular units and 24 in, but most we had the increased interest for students in education. So even invited to knowledge and specialization and to pursue an education career. And our faculty learned a new set of tools and teachings and are now able in classes. It was from education method we are used to, because our students were directly in the teaching. The teachers have to do everything else. They have students, and students learn new ability.
Sorry, Bruna, it looks like the connection is still in and out. Since you're having issues on your end, and thank you very much for the presentation. Lucas, do you want to jump in just to finish off?
Yeah, I can do that. Can you just help me passing the slides, Bruna? So just going back one slide, just going one slide back. So we also helped. There were many students involved actually. Some of them worked in infographics production, and others also helped producing a COVID-19 combat platform that had many videos presented and explained how to treat and what we knew about the disease, and was always being fed with new information. And with all these three areas that we worked with SEDEN, so the infographics, this course organization, and also helping the teachers, we ended up with a great impact in our view. Can you pass the slide, Bruno? So we helped overall 242 live transmissions and helped recording 145 lessons. In this COVID-19 course, there were more than 50,000 students enrolled. So more than 50,000 people watched those videos that we produced and guided their medical assistants based on what we provided them. We had even international people looking at our videos. We had many curricular units that's our classes digitalized, and there were 24 infographics that were shared overall. But we evaluated that our greatest impact was to increase the students' interest and involvement in medical education in a way that even now that we are back in our everyday medical assistants as students, we still work in the SEDEN, and we still try to work with medical education. Can you pass on, Bruno? And this is Bruna, me, and Gabai email if you want to send us anything, because we think our whole point here is to say that it's not just education that changes the world, but people that are changing the world. And I think overall we could see that with different projects here that were presented, what was the difference were the people that were producing them. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas and Bruna. Valeria, back to you.
Oh, okay, so thank you, med students. Congratulations, finalists. They were all awesome projects. And now for the discussion session, I would like to invite all the students. And also, I see that there are some members from the association, and I can cite here Dr. McRae from Utah, USA, Dr. Farzan Ali from Europe, Dr. Inda Suzanti from Indonesia, Dr. Shadid from Lebanon, other leaders from the association, Dr. Elizabeth Cantor, leaders from the LAC members, Dr. Valdez was one of the mentors of one of the projects, and Dr. Manuel Perez. So please, students and mentors and professors, go ahead and we open the discussion. I would like, before introducing the questions, to point out that some of the abstracts, we have, for instance, posters from Rosario, where they focus also on global virtual medical education, use of social media, for instance, Instagram, YouTube, as a way of disseminating the medical education and dermatology, ophthalmology, enhancing the research, integration, teamwork, and also surgery. So reproducing surgical procedures in order to be available to the students. Also, there are projects from TechSalou, peer mentoring program in academic performance, and reinforcing the importance of mental health and anxiety of medical students, and using sophomore students as mentors. Also from the University of São Paulo, community centers, as a way to improve the medical learning for the students, and also exerting a role in those communities as health agents. Digital inclusion, because here at the University of São Paulo, which is a public institution, we have students that need economic support, and projects like Kids Save Lives also from USP, enhancing the importance of CPR methods as distance education. And at UNESP, they pointed out the importance of stressing health, not disease, with alliances with nutrition and other areas of health. So please go ahead, Professor Nancy Shadid. I'm seeing you here on screen. Would you like to start the discussion?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So for those who didn't know, I'm Dr. Nancy Shadid from Lebanese American University. And it was really delightful to see all the presentations, and especially the things you talk about are applicable to so many of our institutions, and we're facing similar issues. So I'd love to see how you solve them. But I had a question for group one, and it seemed like you were able to take some of the existing curriculum and content and deliverables and build on those with your own innovations. It had many benefits, such as more students getting involved and having very interesting and progressive ways to teach and learn. So my question, how do you see that going forward? Do you think you will continue this in this process, not just in the setting of a study, and not in addition to building on the existing content of the program, are you starting to work with the faculty, for example, while they are making the curriculum, and work alongside them to use these more innovative methods?
Okay, I think I can answer this. We are looking forward to develop better our project, and we already get contact with the CEDEN, Center of Development of Medical Education. Our project was last year officialized in academic terms, because this academic center, all the students approved in an assembly or Medicina Nuvens extension, and also institutionally with the Center of Development of Medical Education. But we did not yet reach the point in which we get contact with what you said, that how can I say this? The, the structure of the curriculum, but we are not trying to substitute the curriculum. We mean complement, and that's what we did. I don't know if João or Daniel want to complement my answer.
Yeah, I think it's what you said in terms of officialization that we had here in the university. We noticed that the project only has the opportunity to grow by the sense of we capture all the students' difficulties during the period and before it. So we always stimulate students to do whatever they think is necessary for them. And we think this kind of approach is very important for our curriculum as well, in terms of formation of medical students, but also to innovate in them. And just to comment a little bit better, even though we do not participate in the formation of the curriculum still, or any direct impact in the curriculum, we are starting to and trying to develop a partnership between the professors via our most recent monitoring program, with older students helping new ones in different subjects such as cardiology, nephrology, dermatology. We already started this project by ourselves, and we are looking forward to do a partnership with the teachers responsible for these kinds of subjects. And we think it's a way for us to start to grow the impacts of the initiative in our formation.
Bravo! It's a great, and it looks like it has a lot of potential. And then you can see in some of the other presentations, the students are also helping the teachers to learn about these new methods.
Yes, exactly. And I think what the group 4 reinforces is this idea of the career of medical education. As we, Professor Shadid, as professors, we do a lot of activities. So research, teaching, assistance, and I think if we, dedicate, some of us have, the ability to explore more this medical education. And I think it's a great way to improve this section for our medical students and also for the staff. Do you have in Lebanon something like that, like a special career for medical education?
We have actually some students talking about this, are interested in that. But what we do have at our institution, which is nice, we have quite a large proportion of our full-time faculty have degrees, have pursued additional education and degrees themselves in medical education. And so in many areas, we've been able to develop that more, simulation and other areas. So it's very important, but that's an excellent thing to consider. And we do have some of our students who find that helping other students, they love teaching so much that they want to pursue that. So it'd be great to be able to give them that option.
Excellent. Students, I have a question for the group too, Tech Salou. So, Fernandos, how are you going to keep moving on your global health? How many alliances have you already made in terms of Latin America and, you know, other countries in the Northern Hemisphere as well? You are in North America, but how are you dealing with the expansion of your project?
Well, I think I can take this one, and maybe my peer can say any additional information. Well, right now we're about to launch the official project. We have been working already, as Fernando said, for the past months. We have done some workshops, some webinars, etc., etc. Right now, in terms of alliances with other universities, we haven't started yet to reach out to more people. And that's why we're seeking to participate in more of these forums and webinars in order to make our platform, like, first of all, publicly available, right? And for people to get to know our project. What we want to do right now is that we want to build this community around our platform. And building this community implies creating the perspective and creating the willing of students to become social agents of change, always with the scope on health equity and social justice, right? So mainly throughout these, which are our main objectives, we want to reach out to more universities that can align to our objectives, and with this start working together. So this is like, as I said at the end of my presentation, this is like sort of a call to action in terms of global health, to start building back together and to start working together, doing great alliances, because COVID has taught us something really important and something really interesting. Without health, we have nothing. So global health must be right now even a topic of national security or global security, right? So we want to start building this interest from the beginning of our careers, not only in the health sciences, but in many other areas of the knowledge. And that's why. So if you all are interested in reaching out to us, and if you all are interested in global health, I think we can start working together and building this great community, not only in Mexico, but in the region of Latin America and anywhere else in the world.
Yes, we have been working inside Tecnológico Monterrey, but we have been working very closely with an NGO called Compañeros en Salud in Mexico. Internationally, it is known as Partners in Health. We have designed a program, a global course, an immense global health course in the poorest state in Mexico, that is Chiapas. And is the only global health program that we have today in our platform. Our intention is not just to make connections with universities, not just with medical schools. As Ariel said before, our intention is to form multidisciplinary teams. We want to include many other institutions, politics, economics, international relations, many other schools to address these new challenges of the 21st century. We have already identified many institutions with global health programs in Mexico. For example, the National Health Institute. There are just a few institutions and schools in Mexico that offer global health programs, and we want to put all those efforts in just one place. So once we already launch this platform, we are making an invitations to the universities that we already identify to work together with us.
Thank you.
Oh, Valeria, you're muted. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Group 3, La Sabana. Cesar, may I ask you a question? What was your main challenge in the project that you're running. Did you get enough resources to run all what you exposed here? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think that the main challenge we had at the beginning was all the crises due to the pandemics, because at the beginning we have more questions than answers. We didn't know how much time, if we could have a vaccine, if we could continue our practices in some time. And well, I could tell that at this moment, we don't even know how much time it will take. But I think that the main component for our project to work was the sharing of the experiences and the participation of the different parties, including not only the directives of the faculty, because sometimes it's thought that they take the decisions and we just have to go on those decisions. But we have to take into account that the faculty includes all the students, all the hospitals, all those persons who continually make upon the learning of all the students. So working between the different parties help us to answer those questions that at the beginning we had. And we just don't stop at the faculty level. We also include different faculties, including, for example, engineering, including infirmary. And even in Colombia, we had the opportunity to talk with different representatives, for example, the University of Rosario, Universidad Javeriana, in which we could share our experience. And I will be in parallel to all those ideas and the importance of forums like these ones, in which sharing the experience can help us to know how other universities make through all these problems, and help us to take some ideas, which I think is like the first resource that we have to take into account. I think that technology, we already have it. We already have Microsoft Teams, we already have Zoom, we already have Moodle. But what changes in this time is how we use it, how we take all those things that we already have and use it in our favor in medical education, in which we saw even that some classes like radiology was being taught much better in the virtual way, since in our computers we could see, for example, a CT in a much better way than if we could see it in a projector at our classes.
Thank you. I think Dr. Ali has a question for the group. Dr. Ali, would you like to address your question?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Thank you for joining us. You're
yeah,
so far.
thank you so much. It's been very fascinating to hear some great projects, and I just had one small suggestion. I mean, these 4 projects, they are all excited and quite innovative in their own sense. I would suggest that the 4 of you, you should try to connect together and share your own experiences. You all have your own expertise in your own right, but if you 4 join together and maybe share your own experiences and expertise, and try to keep these projects live, because one of the key challenges is that that you start, and but ultimately scaling it and sustainability will be a big challenge. So I would suggest that if 4 of these projects can collaborate together and can have a sort of a continuous reporting or something like that, bringing back to AAHCI in some shape or form what they've been up to, and not just what COVID has brought in, because the way that things are changing, I mean, the technology is going to be a major part in every walk of life now. So if you can, sort of collaborate among yourself, I'll be more than happy to help you guys if in any ways I can. There's some brilliant organizations already doing a magnificent amount of work, and they will be love to, support you in terms of your design. Even, we can look into some kind of financial support as well for these kind of projects. But I would suggest that if you guys collaborate and come together as a one force, you can make a meaningful impact in the region at least, So I would, this is just a small trivial suggestion, but I mean, it's great to see, that all of the energy coming from the students, and there's been a challenging time, and the most who's been impacted by this pandemic is the students, because they are the one who actually are suffering both in terms of the learning the skills, and ultimately, when they're gonna go to the practical world, they're gonna face some real challenges. But I think it's great to see that that all of the projects, they are making some impact at the institution level, and I would love to hear more how they are just making a real impact at the regional level. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input, Dr. Ali. I think Gustavo has a question. Gustavo, go ahead.
Oh, I would like to know if the iHuman tool is an open resource. It seems to be a very interesting resource.
Okay, well, iHuman is a paid resources, so our faculty had to make the inversion in it. We have different access for different type of students, and it is a very interesting tool. At the beginning, it required having some knowledge, because we use it from the first semesters until to the last semesters, and the level of complexity and the level of the cases is amazing. You can make a complete physical exam, you could ask for any type of paraclinicals, and it also helps us to go on cases that we would normally not see during this pandemic, like a COVID patient, knowing what exams to ask for it, how to ask questions for it, knowing how to diagnose and how to give a treatment. So if you like, it will be a great time to show your faculty. I will send you all the links for you to learn more about that platform.
Thank you. Well, I think I have a last question for group 4. Bruna and Lucas, what can you tell tell us for your experience in working in this project? What was, the best thing that happened to you when you were working in this preceptorship and orientation for professors? Sometimes the bound is difficult. Can you tell us how you felt?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry for my connection. We had tested before, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's okay, Bruna.
Yeah. But totally, I'd like to thank Lucas for coming up and finishing the presentation. For me, I would like to say that I'm a student. I have always been interested in trying to make the education better for our students, but I never thought I could actually do it while we were having the classes. I always thought it would be something for the next generation. Like at the end of our curriculum, I would say, talk to the teachers and say, see, you could have done this, or maybe that would have been better. And because of this project, I feel like I understood that I can be a part of the whole process, and not just change it for other people, but change it for ourselves in the middle. And I got very interested in medical education. I'm one of the students doing the specialization course. And I think we became very powerful by knowing we can actually help our medical education and not just wait for when we after graduate and become teachers. We can do it while we're still students.
Thank you, Bruna. Lucas, would you like to add?
Yes, I would say that before COVID-19, there was like a huge wall that was separating students and professors, because professors knew already their syllabus, what they would teach, and students had no idea about it. And they were used to teach in a way. And then when COVID happened, there was a new disease that no one knew about it. And at the same time, there was a new way to teach that was online teaching, that also professors were, at least in our university, weren't very used to. So this helped us to see in each other a way to help. So students start to help teachers and show them that they knew something more than most of them. That was like using the web and using platforms. And at the same time, students and teachers started to learn together about a new disease. So I worked a lot with the COVID-19 course, and it was very interesting to learn a disease from its beginning and to have an opinion that would be regarded by others, even though I was only a 50-year student, because at that point, all I knew and all other people knew was what was on the web and what was being published. So I think it gave us a real opportunity to start talking more with each other. And I hope that this will keep even after COVID-19, this idea of students and teachers working together. So I think this whole forum was a lot about collaboration, international collaboration. And I would add that student and professors collaboration is also something very important for medical education. And I think that's the key point, that it has been presented by all the groups.
Thank you, Lucas. So we are coming to the end of the session, this wonderful session, and I'll leave the concluding remarks to Dr. Cantor, the president of the Association of Academic Health Centers. Professor Cantor, please.
Oh, thank you, Valeria, and thank you for your leadership in this initiative and being such a wonderful facilitator. I want to say congratulations to the students and thank you for presenting your excellent work. It makes me very proud to see students working at this very high level and really being agents of change. So, I could sense your passion, your thoughtful approach to the projects, and your dedication to making healthcare and education better. So thank you for being involved. We really are counting on you to create a better future for all of us. So stay safe, stay well, stay connected, and thanks to everybody.